We got back from St. Louis to an absolute mess. Hurricane Helene had come through while we were out of town in St. Louis and tore my carport up and crushed 4 vehicles underneath it. Tore my daughter's carport up and crushed her vehicle. When we got home, my buddy Alex met us at the house and helped us pull the tree off our house. He had already come by my daughter's house and pulled the tree off hers, but didn't have time because everybody had trees in their house. So Alex was working 20 hours a day, it seemed like. So, but he was gracious enough to come help me pull mine off as soon as we got home, and it took us till midnight. My son flew in from California the following day to help us with cleanup. Him and my son-in-law got started on the next day while I went back to work. Hobie and I had 2 days to load the truck for Cruising the Coast. We weren't allowed to sell apparel in St. Louis at the NHRA event, but so we had to get all that apparel back on that truck for Cruising the Coast in Biloxi. After we got the truck loaded, Jackson was kind enough to allow me to take a couple days off to clean my house up. So my 2 boys and myself went to work, and in 3 days we had that whole place cleaned up. 18 trees cleaned up, stacked, bucked up, limbs piled up, the whole works. Alex would come back months later and mulch all the debris up for me, but we would have to deal with the logs and the stumps. And now all we have to do is wait on the insurance to pay out and start the rebuild process. But in the meantime, let's go to Biloxi. body in a 32 coupe.
Okay.
That thing is that.
Peterbilt something.
Smooth. Most Nomads have the little fins and the things on the roof. That's all shaved up. That looks good. Cruising the Coast is set in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I had never been to Biloxi, and this is a 2-week cruising, so I was really looking forward to going to this show. However, when you get there and set up as a vendor, there's really nothing in the vending area other than a swap meet and other vendors. There's no cars in there to look at. There's nothing really going on other than vendors. If you want to see cars, you have to cruise up and down the strip. I mean, that's what it is. It's a cruise in. We were staying about, 15 or 20 minutes away inland. So as we left where we were set up at as a vendor, we would cruise down the strip for just a little bit and then turn inland, and we were out of it pretty quick. So we didn't get to see much cruising every night. Next year, if at all possible, I'd like to stay on the strip, maybe at the Hard Rock Cafe, or maybe my wife and I could even rent one of those campground spaces right on the road. That way you could set up a little pop-up tent and watch cars go by, well into the night. I mean, these people are lining the streets watching classic cars go by for weeks at a time. It's pretty awesome. If you've never been, it's a fantastic thing to come see. Cruising the Coast in Biloxi, Mississippi is the last show of the season. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself driving around the country for Jackson in support of Edelbrock on this tour. I've had the opportunity to meet some really fine folks. There's some good boys that work for Edelbrock, and we've shared, plenty of meals together and talked a lot around there's plenty of downtime to get to know people, and there are some fine folks that work for Edelbrock, and I'm proud to be a small part of this team on this tour. It's been a great learning opportunity for me to learn a whole nother language. I sold truck accessories for a long time, but I never did much with performance. So it's been quite a challenge to learn some of the terminology and pick up on some of this stuff and figure out how to set up the tent. And it's just been a whole new thing for me, and I love that. I love to learn it. It's been a great show. But coming down to Biloxi after Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton was building in the Gulf, and we had our eyes on it for sure as we were setting up. And you can see in the video, the wind picked up just as we put the tarp down, and Bam and some of the guys from Scott's came over and helped us hold that tarp down. And we were very thankful for them. But we had our eyes on that Gulf with that Hurricane Milton building, but it turned and went over Florida. Other than that, we had clear weather, beautiful skies. It was a great wrap-up show, so to speak.
Lined up here in front of you are the bravest men and women in the United States, our veterans. We honor these brave individuals today. We can never, ever do enough for them. Please give our veterans a huge round of applause. And now, ladies and gentlemen, stand if you're able, and please remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you for your service.
Well, that's a wrap for the Edelbrock tour. I guess all that's left now is to get this truck parked, stowed for the season. Thank you all for tagging along, and we'll see you next year.
Blow your horn, hot rod. Mercy.
I got
mercy,
it.
mercy.